The sound from my phone was a happy little ding. It was the food delivery app telling me my driver, Mark, was almost here. I let out a sigh and pulled my blanket tighter. I had a bad sinus infection and felt awful. My husband Tom was gone on a boys' weekend trip. I had told him to go and have fun. Now I was home alone and sick. The only thing I wanted was the hot fries and milkshake I had ordered. I got up from the couch and went to the front window to watch for the delivery car. Our street was quiet. Then I saw a car pull up. It was not a stranger's car. It was our car. Tom's blue SUV. The one he drove to his trip 3 hours away. My brain froze. It had to be a car that looked just like ours. But then I saw the little scratch on the bumper from when I hit the garage door. The driver's door opened. A man got out. He was wearing the gray hoodie I bought Tom for Christmas. He was holding a thermal delivery bag. He looked up toward our house. It was Tom. It was my husband. I stopped breathing. I jumped back behind the curtain so he would not see me. My heart was beating so fast I felt sick. What was he doing here? Did he come home early to surprise me? But why was he just sitting in the car? And why did he have a delivery bag? I watched him, hidden by the curtain. He looked at his phone. He tapped the screen. Then he threw the delivery bag back into the passenger seat. He did not look at our house. He did not walk toward our door. He just got back in the car and drove away like it was a normal day. I stood there, my hand clutching the curtain, my whole body shaking. The doorbell never rang. He never came to the door. A horrible, cold feeling started in my stomach and spread through my whole body. The boys' weekend. The delivery app. Our car. He was here, in our neighborhood, but he was not coming home. He was not here to see me. He was working. He was using a delivery job as a perfect excuse. He could tell me he was anywhere, and the app on his phone would show he was working, making deliveries. But he was here. Right near our home. The boldness of the lie made me feel dizzy. I stumbled back to the sofa. How long had this been going on? I thought about the last few months. All those times he said he was doing DoorDash or Uber Eats to make extra money for us. I believed him. I was proud of him. I never wondered why the extra money never showed up in our bank account. He always had a story. He said it was a separate account for taxes. He said he was letting the money build up in the app. I believed him because I had no reason not to trust my own husband. But this was different. This was a big, complicated lie. A second life happening just minutes from our house. He could drop off food nearby and then go to her house. The thought made me feel sick. The doorbell rang. I jumped. It was a different driver, a young man with my food. I took the bag, said thanks, and closed the door. The smell of the food that I wanted so badly now made my stomach turn. I put the bag on the kitchen counter and just stared at it. It was proof. He had delivered this food. From a restaurant far away. Why that restaurant? Was it near where she lived? I left the food and went to Tom's home office. His computer was password protected, but I knew the password. It was our old dog's name, Buddy. The computer turned on. I looked at his internet history. There it was. DoorDash. Com. Uber Eats. Com. He was logged in. I clicked on his driver profile. His picture was there. It said, "Hi, I'm Tom." It showed our car. It showed how much money he was making. The money was going into a bank account I did not know about. A separate account. For tax purposes. What a joke. I checked his regular email. Nothing bad. Then I remembered an old laptop he never used. I found it in the closet and turned it on. He was still logged into an old email account. The inbox was full of receipts from the delivery apps. And there were emails from a woman named Sarah. Flirty emails. Plans to meet. I read one. It said, "Can't wait to see you tonight. My place at 7? I will order food, and you can pretend to deliver it." The date was from 3 weeks ago. A night he told me he was working a long shift in another county. I leaned back in the chair. I felt like all the air had been knocked out of me. The proof was right here. My husband of 8 years had a secret life very close to home. He was not on a trip. He was probably in an apartment 10 minutes away, with another woman, using a food delivery app as his way to cheat. The simple, brazen trick of it was what hurt the most. He did not need a complicated story. He just needed an app and a wife who trusted him. I had to know more. I had to see it for myself. I opened the delivery app on my phone again. I looked at the restaurant I had just ordered from, the one 2 towns over. I added one small thing to my cart, a side of fries. I went through the checkout. My heart was pounding. I picked the leave at door option. Then I waited. I watched the screen. A driver named Mark was assigned. But the map showed Mark was on the other side of town. It was not Tom. I felt a sharp disappointment. Of course it was not that easy. He was probably with her right now. I cancelled the order. I needed a better plan. I spent the next hour looking at his driver schedule on the old laptop. He had work scheduled for tomorrow, Sunday afternoon, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The exact time he was supposed to be driving home from his boys' weekend. He was not driving home. He was working. Or, he was using work as his cover story. I knew what I had to do. A cold, hard feeling settled over me. It pushed away the sickness and the sadness. Tomorrow, I would order food again. And I would be ready. The next day, Sunday, I acted normal. I sent Tom a text saying I felt better and could not wait to see him that night. He texted back quickly, saying he was going on a hike and would be home for dinner. He said he loved me. Those words felt like a knife. I waited until his driver shift was about to start. My plan was a little crazy. I would order food from a place I knew he delivered for, but I would not have it delivered to our house. That would be too obvious. I created a new account on the app with a fake name. I used a different way to pay so he would not see it was me. I ordered from a burger place he mentioned before. The delivery address was the park 2 blocks from our house. A specific picnic spot that was usually empty. In the delivery instructions, I wrote, "I will be wearing a bright red jacket. Please honk when you arrive." The red jacket was my mom's old jacket. Tom hated it. He would never think it was me. I put on the red jacket. I looked in the mirror. I looked like a different person. I walked to the park. My hands were in my pockets, holding my phone tight. The app said my order was being made. Then, a driver was assigned. The name on the screen was Tom. My legs felt weak. I had to stop and lean on a tree. He had taken the bait. I found a bench hidden by a bush where I could see the picnic area. I sat down and pulled the hood up. I waited. The app showed him moving. He picked up the food. The little car icon started coming toward the park. Toward me. I watched the road. Then I saw it. Our blue SUV. It turned into the park. I slouched down on the bench, making myself small. The car drove slowly and stopped near the picnic tables. I could see him through the windshield. He was looking at his phone, probably reading the instructions. Then he looked up, searching for the red jacket. His eyes passed right over me. He did not see me. He tapped his car horn. A short beep. I did not move. He looked annoyed. He beeped again, longer this time. He was getting impatient. He picked up his phone to call the number on the fake account. My phone in my pocket was silent. I had set it that way. He put his phone down, frustrated. He got out of the car, leaving it running. He carried the bag of food to the picnic table and set it down. He stood there for a moment, looking around one last time for the person in the red jacket. He was so close. I could see him perfectly. He looked like my husband. But he was not. He was a stranger. A liar. He shook his head, got back in the car, and drove away. I waited until he was gone. Then I walked to the picnic table and picked up the bag of food. It was warm. I held it in my hands. This was real proof. He was really doing this. I walked home, the bag feeling heavy. I went back to the old laptop. I had to know who she was. I looked at the secret email account again. I found more emails from Sarah. They were planning a trip to the beach next month. Tom had told me he had a delivery driver convention to go to. A convention. I had actually believed him. The emails talked about a hotel room with an ocean view. I found her social media profile. She was pretty. She lived in an apartment complex near the mall. The same one he delivered to all the time. It was all so close. So easy for him. He could finish a delivery to her building and then just stay there. I spent the rest of the afternoon feeling numb. I deleted the fake app account. I threw the food in the trash. I cleaned the house, trying to keep busy. Tom was supposed to be home by dinner. At 5:30, I heard his key in the door. My heart did not leap. It just turned into a hard rock. He walked in, dropped his bag and called out, "Honey, I am home." He came into the living room where I was pretending to read. He looked tan and happy. He leaned down to kiss me, and I turned my head. He said I still looked pale. I said I was still feeling sick. He asked about my weekend. I asked about his trip. He launched into a story about a big fish he almost caught. He talked about the campfire and his friends. He was so smooth. So believable. I watched him, this man I shared a life with, and I saw a total stranger. A very good liar. He finished his story and said it was good to be home and that he missed me. I forced a smile onto my face. I said I missed him too. And I knew right then. He thought he was the only one playing a game. But now I was playing too. I knew his secrets. I knew his alibi. And I was only just beginning to fight back. The next few days were the hardest of my life. I had to act normal while my whole world was falling apart. I made Tom's coffee in the morning and packed his lunch like I always did. I smiled when he talked about his day. But inside, I was screaming. Every time he touched me, my skin crawled. I felt like I was living with a stranger, a very dangerous stranger who knew all my secrets but kept all of his own. I started checking his things more carefully. When he was in the shower, I would quickly look through his wallet. I found a receipt for a gas station near Sarah's apartment from a night he said he was delivering food on the other side of the city. It was a small thing, but it was another piece of proof. I felt like a detective in my own home, and I hated it. I was so tired from pretending and from the hurt that I could barely sleep. I would lie awake next to him, listening to him breathe, and wonder how he could sleep so soundly after all the lies he had told. I decided I needed one more piece of solid evidence, something I could hold on to when everything felt unreal. I knew he had a delivery shift scheduled for Wednesday evening. I told him I was going to my friend Linda's house to watch a movie. It was a lie, but my lies felt small and necessary compared to his. Instead, I drove to the shopping center across from Sarah's apartment complex again. I parked in the same spot and waited. My hands were clenched on the steering wheel. Sure enough, after about an hour, I saw our car pull into the apartment complex. My heart sank and raced at the same time. I watched him park and walk to her door. This time, he did not even knock. The door opened before he got there, and she pulled him inside. I sat there in the dark for a long time after that. The final bit of hope I had been clinging to, the hope that maybe I was wrong, just disappeared. It was really over. I drove home feeling empty. Tom was already there when I got back, sitting on the couch watching TV. He asked me how the movie was. I told him it was fine. I went into the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. The woman looking back at me was different. She was harder. She was not going to be fooled anymore. I knew I could not live like this, playing a part in my own life. The next step was the scariest. I had to decide what to do. I had all this proof, but now I had to use it. I thought about confronting him again, but I knew he would just tell more lies. I thought about calling a lawyer. The word divorce echoed in my head, a loud, frightening sound. I was not ready to say it out loud, but I knew it was waiting for me, just around the corner. For now, I just had to survive each day, gathering my strength and my proof, waiting for the moment when I would finally have to show my cards and change my life forever. The night felt like it would never end. I did not sleep. I just lay in our bed, the empty space next to me feeling cold and wrong. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Tom getting out of our car with that delivery bag. I saw him driving away, never looking back. I thought about all his lies over the last 6 months. Every story about a difficult customer, every time he came home smelling like food. It was all a big, complicated act. The sun finally came up. It was Sunday, the day he was supposed to drive back from his fake fishing trip. I got out of bed feeling tired and sore. I avoided the kitchen where the old bag of food was still sitting. I acted normal. I sent him a text saying I felt a little better and could not wait to see him. He texted back quickly saying they were going on a hike and he would be home for dinner. He said he loved me. Those words felt like a punch. I waited until the afternoon. His secret driver schedule showed he was working from 1 to 4. Right when he was supposed to be driving home. My plan was a little crazy, but I had to see him with her. I had to see it with my own eyes to really believe it. I put on dark clothes and a baseball cap. I looked like a different person. I drove to a shopping center near her apartment. I parked where I could see the entrance to her complex. I settled in to wait. My heart was pounding. I watched the cars come and go. Then I saw it. Our blue SUV. It turned into the apartment complex. I slid down in my seat. He drove to the back of the complex, to a building facing some trees. He parked. He got out of the car. He was not carrying any food. He walked up to a door and knocked. It opened right away. There she was. Sarah. She was real. She smiled a big smile and pulled him inside. The door closed. I sat there in the quiet car. The last little bit of hope I had was gone. It was really true. My husband was in another woman's apartment. I did not know how long I sat there. I felt numb and empty. Then I got angry. A hot, sharp anger. What were they doing in there? Was he laughing with her? Was he complaining about me? I started the car and drove to the grocery store in the plaza. I walked inside feeling like a robot. I bought a big plastic storage bin and a thick black marker. I drove home. The house was quiet. His side of the closet was full of his clothes. I put the bin on the floor and started pulling his things off the hangers. I did not fold them. I just shoved them into the bin. Shirts, pants, sweaters. I took his shoes from the rack. I went into the bathroom and got his toothbrush, his razor, his deodorant. Everything that was his went into the bin. I carried the heavy bin to the garage and set it down. I took the marker and wrote on the lid in big letters. For Tom. Do not bring inside. This was his stuff. He was not bringing it back into my house. I went back to bed, but I did not sleep. I heard the garage door open late that night. It was after 11. I heard him come inside. His footsteps came down the hall. He paused outside our door, then went to the kitchen. I heard him get a drink. Then his footsteps came back. He opened the bedroom door. The light from the hall came in. Are you awake? He whispered. I did not answer. He started to come in and then he stopped. He was looking at his empty closet. He turned on the light. His face was confused. Lily? What is going on? Where are my clothes? I sat up. They are in the garage, I said. My voice was calm, but I was shaking inside. Why? He asked, looking totally lost. I think you know why, Tom. I saw you tonight. I saw you at her apartment. Sarah's. I said her name. His face went white. He could not speak. It is not what you think, he finally stammered. I laughed a harsh laugh. Then what is it? Were you delivering a pizza without the pizza? Please tell me. What possible reason could you have for being in that woman's apartment when you told me you were working? He took a step toward me. Let me explain. Do not come near me, I snapped. The time for explaining is over. I know about the secret bank account. I know about the delivery app lies. I know about the emails. I know about your beach trip. I know everything. He looked crushed. How long? I asked, the words hurting my throat. A few months, he mumbled. 6 months, I said coldly. I read the emails. Why? Why would you do this? And why here, in our own town? It was convenient, he said, his voice getting louder. I could tell you I was working, and I was a little. I could see her, and the app would show I was active. It was the perfect cover. I never thought you would find out. Get out, Tom. What? Lily, we need to talk about this. There is nothing to talk about. You have been lying to me every single day. Get out of my house. Our house, he said, a little fight in his eyes. Not tonight. It is not, I said. Your things are in the garage. You can go to her place. I am sure she will be happy to see you. He looked at the empty closet, at my face. He knew I was not backing down. Where am I supposed to go? I do not care. Sleep in your car. You are good at that. Just get out. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he turned and walked out. I heard the garage door open. I heard him put the bin in the car. I heard his car start and drive away. Then it was quiet. Really quiet. He was gone. I sat in the bed for a long time. The anger faded, leaving me tired and hollow. My life as I knew it was over. I had confronted him. I had thrown him out. But now I was just a woman alone in a dark house, with no idea what to do next. The fight was over, and I had won, but it did not feel like winning. It just felt empty. The next morning, the silence in the house was the loudest sound I had ever heard. I made a single cup of coffee and sat at the kitchen table, staring at the wall. My mind was a blank. I had been so focused on catching him and throwing him out that I had not thought about what would happen the next day. Now it was here, and I felt lost. The first thing I did was call my job and tell them I was still sick. I could not face anyone. Then I called my mom. I did not give her all the details. I just said Tom and I were having serious problems and he had moved out. She was shocked and worried and offered to come over right away. I told her no, I needed to be alone for a little while. I knew I would have to tell her the whole story eventually, but not yet. Just saying the words out loud to someone made it feel more real and final. After I hung up, I walked through the house. It felt different. It was my house, but it also felt like a museum of a life that was over. Every picture on the wall, every piece of furniture, had a memory attached to it, and now every memory felt tainted by his lies. I went into the garage. The space where I had put his bin was empty. He had really come and taken it. I felt a mix of relief and a new wave of sadness. This was really happening. I was getting a divorce. The word finally formed completely in my mind. Divorce. I was 34 years old and my marriage was over. I spent the rest of the day just trying to keep busy. I cleaned things that were already clean. I washed the sheets on our bed, wanting to erase any trace of him. I finally threw away that old bag of food from the counter. It felt like a small victory. In the afternoon, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Tom. We need to talk about practical things. The house. The bills. My stomach twisted. I texted back one word. Lawyer. I did not have a lawyer, but I knew I needed one now. This was the start of the real battle, the unglamorous and expensive process of untangling two lives that were supposed to be one. I was scared, but the anger was still there, burning underneath the fear. It gave me the strength to know that I had to fight for myself now. No one else was going to do it. I was on my own.